Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 4 of the Not to Be Dramatic podcast. I am your host, Alexa Jean Beck, and this is a podcast for the girls where we discuss topics in pop culture, relationships, and all of the dramatic ups and downs that girls go through in life. In this episode, I have a very special guest,
Reed Wheeler.
Yes, I'm so excited to have Reed here. He's one of my friends from college, and this is our second guest and our very first male guest. And I thought it would be fun to have kind of like the male perspective on the podcast, even though it is more of a podcast for the girls. But we do have some guy listeners too. You say listen to the podcast, right, Reed?
Yeah, I enjoyed the podcast. I think it has some good messages that anyone can enjoy.
Thank you, Reed. I appreciate that. But so we do have some male listeners too. So, I mean, this podcast is really for everyone, but I just say it's for the girls because we talk about a lot of topics that girls would like, but it's open to everybody. And so in this episode, you are going to get to know Reed, and we will dive into some pop culture topics and discuss some of his interests. So why don't you introduce yourself, tell me a little bit about yourself and all that.
Well, hi guys, I'm Reed. I'm a freshman here at college with Alexa. I'm originally from Northeast Georgia, one of the southern states. I am a theater major with a Chinese minor, and I'm also still considering having a physics minor, because why not?
Yeah.
If you can't tell, I'm very all over the place, and I'm also in the honors program, so I love learning, and I'm all about learning something new every day.
I don't think you're all over the place. I think that you're just interested in so many different topics, and I think that's something good. I think everybody should be interested in more than one thing. And be interested in other things that you're not necessarily majoring in, but just want to learn more about in college.
Yeah, absolutely. But college doesn't really structure it that way. They want you to choose one thing, kind of focus in on that, and
So true.
So that's why I enjoy going to a liberal art school, they have it here, and you still have to even gen ed, you have to do all of that.
Yeah, it is good to get involved in other topics. I mean, I'm not a theater major, but that's why I'm pursuing a musical theater minor, because something I'm interested in and still want to pursue, even though I don't want to major in it. But so that brings me into Reed is also a theater kid. We love the theater kids on this podcast.
Yes, we do.
Every guest so far has either been a theater kid in the past or is current theater kid. So if you can't tell, I'm friends with a lot of theater kids, whether they do theater in college or not.
Yeah.
But so something I wanted to discuss was your philosophy to happiness. This is something Reed told me earlier about at dinner. Well, he didn't tell me about it yet. I told him, save the content for the podcast. I want to hear about it. But so what is your philosophy to happiness?
It's hard to describe in words, but I do believe I am one of the happiest people I know.
Really? I think you're really happy too. So I agree with that statement. But that's I'm oftentimes very in my head and would never be confident enough to say something like that about myself. So that's awesome that you're able to recognize that and be wow, I truly am happy internally. But continue.
Yeah. And it might just be something that's so specific to me and how I've been raised and lived my life, but ultimately it's just a choice. I've chosen to be happy and enjoy it. You've heard a lot about pursuing happiness and reaching your goals to be happy, but then there's what I believe it's you got to choose to be happy and then live your life,
Wow.
regardless of how whatever your circumstances might be.
That's really powerful. I mean, I need a second. Wow. That's amazing. I mean, that's so true. My mom, she's going to listen to this podcast, and that sounds like something my mom would tell me. My mom is a social worker, so she has a background in obviously dealing with people's happiness and their emotions. And she always tells me happiness is a choice. You have to choose to be happy. So what if this is happening in your life? Find something else that's going to make you happy.
Yeah.
And it's so true because every single person on this earth is going to go through multiple difficult experiences in their life and all that. I mean, of course, some people have harder circumstances in life than others, but regardless of your circumstances, everybody goes through difficult things, and you're going to have to choose whether to be happy or not to be happy. And why wouldn't you choose to be happy?
Yeah. And one of the specifics I would say with how the methods with how you be happy is definitely be a very thankful and humble person. When you wake up in the morning, what are you thankful for? Are you happy to be here? What are you thankful that you have in your life? And
Yeah. That's a great way to remain happy and like always be like mindful of like the gifts that you are given in your life. I'm religious, so I always try to thank God for all the gifts that he has given me, and I do feel like being thankful just does make you happy because it makes you realize what you have and focus less on what you don't have, because I think a lot of times people become unhappy when they realize the things that they don't have, and everybody has something that they don't have and they want. I don't think there's one single person on this earth who has everything they want, So being thankful is so important. Going back to my mom keeps a gratitude journal that she does every single night.
Aww.
And writes what she's thankful for. So I do think that's a very good tactic. She always tells me I should keep one, and maybe she's right. Maybe I will get a gratitude journal now that I'm thinking about it.
That's cute. I love your mom. I want to meet your mom.
You did meet my mom.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did, for like one brief second.
It wasn't like a proper introduction.
Yes, that's true. So Reed hasn't officially met my mom. You met my mom after one of the shows of Addams Family. We were in Addams Family together this fall. Reed was Lurch and I was Morticia. I think you met my mom for like one brief second.
Yeah.
But yeah, you haven't like officially met her. But you guys should meet, because I think you guys...
I think we would vibe.
I think you would vibe, for sure. So you're going to have to meet my mom soon. But then I also wanted to talk about cultural differences. We were talking about this earlier at dinner as well. Just the differences between living in the North and the South, and how that kind of comes together in college. So do you want to start us off on that?
Yeah. As a freshman, I came from my high school in Georgia, and then I came here to college, and it's like you introduce yourself to everyone like all the time your freshman year. And it's like, where are you majoring in? Where are you from? What state? And it's like, yeah, I'm from Georgia. And it's like, oh, that's so interesting. Because at least at our college specifically, the majority of people are from the Northeast. So like you have majority of your people from New Jersey or Maryland or New York. So it's like, I don't know. I always get like a weird look. I don't know if it's like judgmental, but it's like,
no,
there's like a pause when I say I'm from Georgia.
I know what you mean. Like, I do feel like just there's some like subtle differences. I feel like an accent is a dead giveaway. I feel like just by the way somebody talks, I can kind of tell if they're from the North or the South.
Yeah.
And as like a Northerner from Jersey, I feel like I can kind of sometimes pick out the people from Jersey. I don't think I have an accent. I think if anything, I have a slight Italian accent because my family's very Italian. But I do feel like the Italian accent sometimes goes along with the Jersey accent, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of...
Because that's like the history of Jersey too, is like Italian immigrants and like all that stuff.
Exactly. So I feel like a lot of people from Jersey are Italian. But we were talking about this at dinner too. I feel like people from Jersey get such a bad rap. Like everybody's like, oh, you're from Jersey? And I'm like, what's so bad about New Jersey? Like the Jersey Shore has ruined our reputation. Like it literally has ruined it. Like that's like 5% of the people in Jersey are the people who...
What happens on the Jersey Shore? I don't know anything about this.
Just like a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, that kind of stuff. And I feel like the show kind of like set this precedent of the classic, like, you're from Jersey, you're like trashy, like that kind of vibe, just because of some of the things that they did on the show. And just that's so not true for majority of people in Jersey. So
yeah,
I would like a petition for the Jersey stereotype to be changed.
I definitely have a view of like the Jersey stereotype, but my view is entirely based on Teen Beach Movie and like the bikers.
See, that's what I pictured the LA stereotype to be. Or like, I don't know, like where's there a beach in California? I feel like that's like a California vibe to me. You think that's what Jersey is?
Yeah. Or like the one girl's like, I don't know. She's like, don't talk to me like that. I'm going to get your mama. I don't know.
Well, I don't think that's how we are in Jersey, but
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, I was surprised to hear you're from Jersey.
Really?
It's like, you don't seem like you're from Jersey. See, that's another thing people say too. They're like, I'm from Georgia. It's like, oh, you don't seem like you're from Georgia.
See, I feel like you do give me Georgia vibes,
In
but
what
I
way?
also don't know a lot of people from Georgia.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just kind of like give me like a sweet, like not super Southern. Like you don't have like a crazy Southern accent or anything, but just like sweet, like Southern vibes, you know?
And what is a sweet Southern vibe? Do I have an accent?
I don't know. Just like A little bit, but like nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like you're just like sweet and kind and like very friendly. And I feel like a lot of people from the North think that people in the South are like very friendly because some people in the North are a little bit more like keep to themselves.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why you give the Georgia vibe to me.
Yeah. We definitely do know how to be very chivalrous in the South. I can be a proper gentleman when needed.
I love it, Reed. Did you hear our segment on the, or just when I talked about chivalry on the other episode?
On the Valentine episode?
Yes.
I did not listen to that one.
Reed, you gotta listen to the Valentine's Day episode. We talk a lot about chivalry, but chivalry, if you're chivalrous, you get an A+ in my book, is all you need to know. So,
Right.
Good job, Reed. But so now we are going to jump into my first ever Q&A segment of the show. We are going to answer some questions that were left on my Instagram. I posted something asking for some questions from fans, and we have 4 questions today, and I'm super excited to answer them. So the first one is from Brielle, and the question is, what is the best advice you could give to incoming college freshmen? So do you want to start or you want me to start?
You start, since you've already had the full freshman experience, and
True,
then I'll
true.
kind of give like what I've noticed so far.
Okay, cool. So I'm a sophomore, Reed's a freshman, as we mentioned. The best advice that I think I could give is to get involved in as much as you can. And I'm not saying to like go crazy and like overload yourself, but the best way to meet friends when you first come into college is by getting involved in things that you like. And through those activities, you'll meet people that are like-minded and interested in the same things as you. And it'll just keep you busy when you first come to college. And then as you go through your college experience, you can get involved in more things, or if there's something you're not really enjoying, also knowing like when to take a step back and like stop being involved in an activity that you're not enjoying so much anymore. College is the time to like try new things and meet new friends. So just come into college and get involved in those things right off the bat, and then you can make adjustments later on as you go on in your college career.
It's good. I like that. I definitely agree with most of that. Definitely get involved with a lot of stuff. I wouldn't say bite off more than you can chew,
I agree.
but like sign up for more things, because you can always like drop a club, but it's
Yeah.
harder to join a club later or something like that.
So true.
So like at least at our college, we have like a club fair at the beginning of the semester, and you can like go and see all the clubs and sign up for them. I signed up for a bunch of clubs, even if I was only mildly interested in them, just like get on the email list and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then later I decided whether or not to drop it. So it's easier to get rid of stuff than it is to like find the stuff to do. And I don't know, it's hard. It's hard because it's like new place, new environment. You don't know. Like I was the first person in my family, like oldest child, to go to college.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had no idea how anything worked. Like the scariest thing was like my passport. And like I didn't know like how does it swipe? Like do you like scan it or like swipe it? Like how does this work? Like getting our food, like figuring out magic meals too. I was like, what is this? How does this even work? So one of the best things I did was like become friends with upperclassmen, because having your freshman friends is great too, but like getting your upperclassmen mentors is also awesome. I have a
agree.
lot of like upperclassmen friends, and they like give me advice and like tell me what to watch out for, and like they're well established too, so they can invite you to things and things like that.
I agree with that 100%. Because I had a bunch of people my freshman year who were upperclassmen who really helped me out that first year, and I'm so thankful for them. And some of them have graduated, some of them are still here. And yeah, I think just meeting upperclassmen is a great way to make connections and make new friends.
I will also say, don't expect to have a good sleep schedule your first semester.
Don't expect to have a good sleep schedule any semester.
But especially your first semester, like socially, you're gonna want to like hang out with all the people and
Yeah.
like form the bonds. You gotta like form the bonds early, and like often that means staying up past 12 playing volleyball. So it's like,
Class, another class, hang out with friends, dinner, no sleep.
yeah. So like your the first semester is gonna be wild because you're gonna have like a random McDonald's trip, and you're
yeah.
gonna have a lot of fun. It's just gonna be all over
Random
the place.
cookout trip.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of like late night impulses, and so you gotta like give yourself some grace with that. You don't have to be right on top of everything when you get to college.
I agree. And I've never had a good sleep schedule in my life. So it was even worse or just as bad coming into college. But actually, I will say, this one singular semester of my life, I've actually been going to bed pretty early for me. Like, I've been going to bed like between 12 and 1, which is early for me.
This semester?
Yeah. Because normally I'm going to bed like 2, 3 in the morning.
That's the real reason you dropped ambassadors.
We're going to save ambassadors for a second. First, we're going to finish answering the questions. But so now we're going to go into our 3 other questions. So our next question, I'm going to pick this question next because it kind of goes along with what we were saying before. This one's from Melina. It says, is college scary? College, I think it kind of goes back to the happiness thing a little bit. College is scary if you make it scary.
Yeah.
You can't go into college being like, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid. Like, you have to go into the college with the mindset of, okay, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be going to a new place where I'm not going to know anybody. But I'm going to have fun. I'm going to meet people and I will eventually find my place. And if you go in with that mindset, it becomes less scary because you take back the control aspect of it. And you're not like, oh, college is some big scary place. And instead you're thinking to yourself, okay, I know where I'm going. I'm going to eventually take the steps to make this place my home and make it what I want to be. But I'm going to know that when I first get there, it is going to be a little bit scary, but I'm going to overcome it and I'm going to have a great time. I feel like that's what you have to tell yourself. And also just like the first day that you get there, it's going to be really scary just being in a new place, like with your parents leaving. Like, I feel like that's a really emotional time. But then you got to take that day, get the scary part over with, and then switch over to that mindset of, all right, I'm excited. We're going to go to class. We're going to have a good time. We're going to make friends, and it's going to be a great experience. And I feel like it's all in the mindset with if college is scary or not.
Yeah. And like, you're not alone either. Like, everyone else in your incoming class too is exactly the same boat. So like, I was so scared like the summer before college just because there's so many unknowns. Like, I don't know what my room looks like. I don't know what my roommate looks like. Like, I just don't know what it's going to be like. So like, your imagination is what gets the better of you. And, like, it goes all over the place. But once you get to college, once you move in, it just gets exponentially so much better. And like, you're just in the boat with all these other baby freshmen and you're like, what are we doing? Woo-hoo. Okay, let's go to over here, I guess. And like, you're not alone. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and you're a freshman, so I don't know what your experience will be like, but for me, I feel like I had a great freshman year, but I felt like some aspects of my life at college were still kind of undefined, and like I felt like a little bit of something was missing, and I feel like I really found those missing things in my sophomore year, and now I feel like really solid in my college experience. Like, I'm where I want to be, I'm happy, and so I feel like for me, sophomore year has been better than freshman year, but I still did have a great freshman year. So I'm interested to see what your experience will be like and
That's good.
what you'll think.
Let's see. We'll check back in a year and see how I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to go to our next question, which is from Cooper. And what's it like to work in a news studio? And Reed can actually speak to this too because he's worked in a news studio before as well. I have a bunch of different experiences working in news studios. I'm currently an intern at Fox, where I work in a news studio with the producers, so I work more behind the scenes. In high school, I worked for my school's news studio, where we would do morning broadcasts, and I worked every aspect of that newsroom. But my favorite part was being on air as an anchor. And now I work with Reed at HPU Vision, which is our news studio here at High Point University. And each experience has brought different types of news equipment, different types of people, and just different experiences. And each one has been an incredible learning opportunity for me. I would say definitely coming into college and interning at Fox as well, just having that equipment upgrade from high school and just like that taking that professionalism to the next level. Our high school news station was pretty professional, but just taking it to that even higher level has been a really cool experience. There's just so many aspects to learn in a newsroom, and I've just loved all of my experiences in all of the newsrooms I've worked in.
That's good. That's really impressive. You got quite the repertoire.
A little bit.
The only thing I have to add, had fun the brief time we worked on HPU Vision. We're sort of in like a hiatus moment right now.
Yes, you haven't
'cause, like,
had like the full experience
Yeah.
yet.
But in high school, I worked at my local radio station.
Oh, very
and
cool.
was
I did that too.
Yeah, and I made all our commercials for like the local businesses.
Awesome.
So it's fun. And like in my town of rural Georgia, businesses don't have websites. So I have to like look up their websites and like call them and like, because they just like pay us to make a commercial for them. So I have to like
Yeah.
handwrite these commercials. I'm like, what do y'all sell? Like, what am I doing for y'all? Like, what do y'all even sell?
Yeah.
So that was fun. I did that in high school.
Very cool. But yeah, I'd say every newsroom is different, and just learning to adapt is something that you have to learn in the news industry. And then we have another question from Kayla. It's our last question. It's, what's your biggest hot take? And I was thinking about this for a second because I'm not quite sure. I don't know that I have that many hot takes. Maybe I do. I don't know. I definitely need to give this question some more thought. But the one that immediately popped into my mind was that I like going to a small university, and just in general, I am partial to a smaller school. What do you think
Wow.
about that?
That's so controversial, Alexa. You're going to get canceled for this. That's crazy.
Okay, I know it's like not that big of a hot take. But I feel like, hear me out. In today's world, I feel like everybody wants to go to that big football school. Am I wrong? Like, that's what everybody like envisions as like the college experience. And I think that there's a lot to be said for a smaller school. You get more personalized attention in class. It's easier to meet people, in my opinion. Like, I feel like everybody knows everybody, and I kind of like that. Like, I like that I'm going to walk across campus and probably bump into like 5 of my friends while I'm walking. Like, I like that like smaller feel, and like I feel like I would be lost at a big university.
That's so interesting. I don't really.
What do you think?
I don't agree that most people want to go to the big university.
That's just me. Maybe that's,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's like a Northeast thing.
Maybe. I feel like everybody just like thinks of like the college experience as like a big football school, like an SEC
Yeah.
school or something.
The college experience and like what high schoolers perceive it to be, I feel like it's very different than what it is.
I agree.
Because like my senior year of high school, I imagined myself to be doing something very different than what I am doing now.
What did you envision yourself doing?
I was gonna be a business major.
Okay.
And I was gonna go to like a public school in Georgia, and then I found out about this school and like
Yeah.
complete 180 and like did all these other stuff, and then I ended up here.
I feel like you are not going to figure out your exact life goal in high school. Like, you think you are, and you think you're going to figure out like everything your senior year of high school, but you're just not. Like, so many changes are going to happen in your life over that time.
Yeah.
And you're going to realize that you have different interests and all this different stuff. So things are always going to change after
And
high
maybe
school.
college is not even like what you need to do anyway. Because
Yeah, true.
like in the South, at least, a lot of people don't really need to go to college. They go to like more technical schools
Yeah.
and like go
And
ahead and get
trade
a job.
schools,
And
yeah.
like bigger companies these days, they have great like education programs with the job, like
Yeah,
advanced careers and stuff like that. So it's a big world.
for sure.
Anyway, my hot take.
Yeah, I
I
wanna
just
hear
thought
yours.
of this. Assigned seating. You know what I'm talking about?
Assigned seating. Wait. So you mean like in class when you
yes.
walk in and like,
Everyone sits in the same
Yes.
seat every day, but there is not assigned seats.
I know what you mean. Exactly.
I personally refuse to sit in the same seat every day.
So
it makes
you
no sense.
defy the social norm.
I do. And I have no idea why this social norm exists in the first place. And some people are really stingy about it.
No, I kind of agree because
Like, I'll sit in their seat and they'll be like, you're in my seat. And I'm like, this is not your seat. We share this one classroom with like 5 other teachers and
wait,
5
has
other
somebody
classes throughout the
literally
day.
said to you, "You're sitting in my seat"?
Well, maybe that happened in high school. It hasn't happened yet, but sometimes you get
But
look.
like a look, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. Because so in my one class, I have a seat that I don't like. I sit like right at the room's like really hard to describe in a really weird shape, but I basically sit like right in front of the professor's podium, but like almost like on top of the podium. Like, it's just a little too close for me. But it was the last seat left in class when I got there the first day. And so the second day I tried to switch my seat and sit somewhere else, and it worked that one day, but then the next day I came back and somebody else was sitting in that seat, and the only open seat was the one that I had sat on the first day, so I've just sat there ever since, and I don't like it. And I feel like I can't change it.
Well, just go to class earlier and get another seat.
But I don't want to take somebody's seat.
It's
Like,
no
I
one
feel
owns the
guilty.
seat. See, that's so interesting to me. I don't feel guilty.
I feel guilty, but I wish I didn't. So I applaud you.
Yeah. And it's like, it's also the thing where I don't want to be in the same seat every day either. Like, that seems very boring to me. I want to like change my perspective. I want to sit to someone new because I always talk to whoever I sit next to. Like, not to disrespect the teacher or anything, just like, light conversation.
Yeah.
I love shaking it up. Like, I always try to get to know everyone in my classes.
See, I love that. I feel like I don't. And I wish I did.
Yeah.
I need to be more like you, Reed.
I'm like we're paying a lot of money to be here. We're not going to be here that long. I'm going to like be efficient and like maximize all the perspectives in this one classroom.
Oh, Reed, I love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that's my hot take.
I love the hot take. I
Sit
love
in
it.
different seats, guys.
I love it. You should take Reed's advice. Let's take a break for a second and let's go back to the whole ambassadors conversation. So essentially, there's a job on campus to be a campus ambassador, and you had to be nominated to be one. Like, you have to go through like a whole interview process and all this stuff. And I had always wanted to be one. And so this year I was nominated, went through the interview process, and was hired as an ambassador. I was super excited. And basically what this job entails is mostly talking to prospective students and giving tours. And so it's something I really wanted to do because I could just envision myself like walking across the promenade, giving tours to people, being like, there is Phillips School of Business, where you could find your home one day and study your business streams. And just like, I could see myself like really marketing the school because I'm super passionate about our university. And then I started going through the training process, and we were getting up at 7:00, like what, Tuesday, Thursdays?
Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
For training, which is really early for me. And then I had also taken another job at a princess party company around that same time. And I was getting super stressed out going to these early meetings, and then thinking about like once we were done with the training, having to do like my actual shifts during the week. And like I already go to my internship, so like the hours were just like piling on, and I just felt like I was drowning. And so Reed was hired at the same time I was, and is still currently an ambassador, but I unfortunately dropped out of the program, which I'm really sad to say because I pride myself on not being a quitter.
Me
But
too.
going back to what we were talking about earlier about knowing when you're taking on too much.
Yeah.
I feel like in that moment I was like, all right, I'm not quitting, but like I just need to step back from this to like focus on myself and like have a healthy like lifestyle balance.
Yeah. And that was a great decision. And I definitely told you should have done it too.
Yeah, it was
Even though I make fun of you.
though, it was like a really hard decision for
Yeah.
me because like I said, I pride myself on not quitting, but then I was like, listen, this isn't quitting. I just need to step back. Like,
Yeah.
it's too much. But how are you liking your experience with ambassadors?
It's so great. I mean, once we finished with the trainings and they weren't at 7 a.m. anymore,
Yeah.
right now I'm still in the process of like shadowing current ambassadors to see how the tour route goes and what they say on tour. And right now I'm kind of like co-touring. I kind of give like half the tour and they watch me, and then they give the other half. It's been really fun. You get to drive the golf carts and the
Yes, the
buses.
golf
This
carts
is the
are so
best
fun.
part. You know,
I know. I still have that like love for being a tour guide, and like I want to be one in my mind. So like I know this isn't how it works, but like if any day you just need like a tour guide who's not an actual tour guide, like I'll do the tour. I would love to like just do a tour for a family once.
just once.
So maybe somebody will let me one day.
Do you see yourself ever like redoing it, going back to it?
Probably not, because I'm always going to stay with my princess party job because I do really love the work that I do
Yeah.
there. And, you know, I'm always busy with all of my other things. I always have a full class load.
that's good.
I don't think I've ever taken less than 18 credits. Maybe my first semester I did because they made my schedule for me. But every other semester I've taken 18 credits, and I'm involved in like so many other things. So it's just too much, you know?
Yeah.
But in another life, I'd be a tour guide.
In another life, you are a tour guide.
So true. So
Yeah.
true. Thank you, Reed. So now we're going to jump into our pop culture segment. So Reed kind of came up with the topics for this one. Normally I feel like I'm the person like picking out everything, but I kind of let Reed pick out some stuff today, which I'm kind of excited about. So he wanted to talk about Taco Bell. You can lead this discussion because I don't know too much about this.
All right. Context, guys. One of the classes I am right now that I don't sit in a same seat every day is my business entrepreneurship class, ideation and creation. And we just recently did a project where we analyzed Fast Company's top 50 companies of 2023. And one of the top companies of 2023 was Taco Bell. I was like, that's so interesting because Taco Bell, to me, is just like chilling there in the background on the side of the road serving tacos.
I've never been to Taco Bell once in my life.
What?
Just saying.
You need to go get a Crunchwrap.
I don't think I'd like it.
Do you like any Mexican food?
Yes, but like, I feel like I don't like ground beef.
Do you get chicken?
But I feel like their chicken would be gross. I don't know. I don't think I'd like it.
Well, you're making a judgment about something you've never had.
I'm kind of scared.
Anyway, so Taco Bell recently has gotten a new CEO who was the marketing chair for Michael Jordan's like whole brand.
Really? I did not know that.
So he is now the CEO of Taco Bell. So he has been pushing this whole like rebranding of Taco Bell to like make it more connected to the fans. Like Taco Bell customers are called fans.
Yeah.
And within the company, they like have custom T-shirts that are limited only to the employees, and they're like really nice,
Really?
like the Michael Jordan like vibe.
See, I knew that Taco Bell was going through somewhat of a rebranding because I knew that they like changed their logo,
Yeah.
and we briefly talked about it. Like, I didn't know about all this other stuff. We briefly talked about just like the logo change in my PR and advertising class.
Yeah.
But I did not realize that it was like this level of rebranding. And I think that's like super awesome. Even though I'm not a Taco Bell fan, I'm all for rebranding.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I love it.
And then they've been partnering a lot with celebrities to like take things on and off the menu.
Okay.
Like they partnered with, I forget who it was. I think it was not Dua Lipa, Nicki Minaj. One of
How
those
did you just mix up Dua Lipa and Nicki Minaj?
one of those people, one of those queens. So they like partnered with them to like bring back Mexican pizza, which is like a staple at Taco Bell, which you don't know because you don't go Taco Bell. So Taco Bell does this whole thing where they create FOMO by taking things on and off the menu to create like buzz. Be like, oh my gosh, the enchilada is back.
Okay, so kind of like Starbucks, like it's like when the pumpkin spice latte comes back,
Yeah.
everybody goes crazy.
They do
I
that.
got you.
Like they'll like take stuff off the menu for like 8 months and then bring it
See,
back.
I get the brand stuff. Like I'm a loyal Starbucks customer. Like I get the branding stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm just not a Taco Bell fan
Yeah.
in particular.
And
But
then the biggest thing they've done recently is they built their newest location in I want to say Minnesota, somewhere.
okay.
And it's a 2-story Taco Bell with 4 mobile order only drive-through lanes where you do your mobile order on top the Taco Bell app, and you go through this drive-through lane, and the kitchen is on the second floor above the drive-through lane, and then
Okay.
the food comes down to you through a tube. It's very
Oh.
sci-fi looking. If you like look it up, there's a bunch of videos about it. So like you order your food, you go to your drive-through, and like it appears. It just comes through a tube.
Well, that's an interesting business concept, but there is one thing that I like the, like contactless ordering and all that stuff, like for efficiency and whatever, but I don't love that from a employee perspective because I feel like if they were to do that with all the Taco Bells, that would take away jobs from people because, they need people who are like talking to the customers and like
Yeah.
taking orders and whatever. And so that would make me sad to see like less employees for the company and taking away those jobs. But I do like the concept.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it is really like kind of crazy looking and out there. I think
Yeah.
it's more of like a showstopper kind of piece and not something they're trying to like uniform across all the locations. It's something like, here's like a whoa, Taco Bell.
Yeah. Well, go Taco Bell.
Go Taco Bell.
We're happy for your rebrand. So the other thing was Reed sent me this video. It was from Talk of the Table on CBS Mornings, and it was a study from researchers at Stanford and the University of Maryland that said that gossip is healthy.
Yes, it
which
is.
such an interesting topic for like this little not to be dramatic podcast. I just thought that was really interesting. They said like it helps you learn to cooperate and bond with others and how it validates our emotions. That's what they found in the study. But they did say that the gossip, in order for those like positive things to be true, the gossip itself had to be true and not false information, which I
Yeah.
also thought was interesting. But I do kind of agree with that. I feel like gossip like gives you a conversation to talk about with somebody else and like just makes you feel good to like get out these emotions. But I also agree that if it's false gossip, then that's not great and can cause a lot of negative issues.
Yeah, totally agree. The interesting thing it had made me think about was how we kind of like have a negative connotation about all kinds of gossip in general. It's like, I feel like gossiping
Yeah.
has become related to bullying. In a sense, like, don't gossip at all. It's so bad. It's like mean. Don't talk about people at all behind their backs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know about you, but I found myself gossiping a lot more in college.
Yeah.
Just there's like, you see,
Unfortunately.
you're around people a lot more, and there's a, see, why do you say that? Like, unfortunately,
Yeah,
like,
I know. It's
It's like,
within
it's
our
natural.
human nature
Yeah.
to discuss things that we hear with our friends. Like it's just human nature.
Yeah.
I know for me personally, like I would never wish harm on anyone and I would never want to say something that would negatively impact another person. But it's just within our nature to discuss things with other people. And I think that's what gossiping is for some people. Yes, I do believe have negative.
intentions.
I do believe that some people have bad intentions behind their gossiping. But for me, gossiping is more like a discussion and I am simply just sharing information with somebody else and talking about it. I have
Yeah.
no like bad intentions at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've never had bad intentions to like spread anything about
No.
anyone. It's just like, did you hear about this? Like, what do you think about this?
Yeah,
It's like, yeah,
I agree. Well, I just thought that was a really interesting study.
yeah.
But so that pretty much concludes our episode today. Thank you so much, Reed, for joining us today.
Thank you, Alexa. It was a pleasure.
And thank you so much for tuning in to our 4th episode of the Not to Be Dramatic podcast. You can follow us on whatever platform you stream on. And for more information, you can head to our Instagram at not.tobedramatic.pod. So thank you again, Reed, for being on the podcast today. And that about wraps up our episode. Thank you for listening to another episode of Not to Be Dramatic.